think it's a case of styled. Do you think it's styled? To me, it just looks like she's whipped it back and tied it up and she's carried on. I'm feeling a bit sus about this. I'm feeling very sus about this. Okay, next video.
I got in the car and I drove. I just kept driving north. Just kept going, just wanted to get as far away as I could. When I finally stopped, I was all the way up in Glasgow.
That's a long way away.
I was so tired. I just had to sleep.
What she said, she just had to drive as far as she could away. Yeah, I'm thinking that. Just needed to just get away. Just for no specific reason, she just wanted to go. Very odd. It's very odd.
When I arrived in Glasgow, I was exhausted. The streets were empty. I was driving badly. And I hit a taxi.
Huh?
Not a big crash, just paintwork. The guy was so pissed off because I didn't have a driving license on me. But when I told him I was pregnant, he made sure I got to the hospital so they could check me out. It was fine. The hospital must have details when I was looked at. There's a scratch on the car.
Okay. Taxi bump. Hospital checkup. Hospital checkup. Pregnant. So she lost the baby after Simon's gone missing? At the time. So we need to search for hospital records, don't we? Proper English, you're proper going into this. Unless she killed Simon before going to Glasgow, she drove as far away as she could because she felt guilty, or so that she would have an alibi. It makes there is a plausible story there, 100% a plausible story. Okay, we've added it to the session. Let's just see how we're doing with the videos. So somebody mentioned they want to do Florence. There is so many videos. I would try baby. Let's try Florence. Keep baby safe. Remind me shortly. Let me just listen to this accent again that they're talking about.
When I arrived in Glasgow, I was exhausted. The streets were empty. I was driving badly. And I hit a taxi. Not a big crash.
Okay.
We spent the wedding night in a hotel in Brighton. It would have been too much to do more. We were saving for the baby. It was wonderful to be in a hotel, away from home, just alone together.
Oh, okay. Hang on. I get what you mean now. Let's try again.
When I arrived in Glasgow, I was exhausted. The streets were empty.
Right. And then...
I got in the car and I drove. I just kept driving north. Just kept going, just wanted to get as far away as I could.
I'm not convinced. So what was the Florence video? Florence raised at home.
Florence raised me in her home. I never left it. She kept me out of sight.
Okay, so Florence was her like carer when she was younger. Okay.
Across the road, where my parents first lived there, was a midwife called Florence. When Hannah was born, I was born at the same time.
Wow.
The midwife was there to help. I'd been throttled by the cord, probably wrapped around my neck by Hannah. The midwife told my mother I was dead. But I wasn't. She wrote all this stuff in a diary. Amazing what people will admit to on paper.
What?
Across the road, where my parents first lived there, was a midwife called Florence. When Hannah was born, I was born at the same time.
Is this not a split personality thing? Hannah and possible twin? Was she calling herself Hannah? I honestly cannot hear the difference. I cannot for the life of me hear two different accents. They sound the same. Whew, I'm getting chills now thinking about this.
Florence took me home with her. Mother hadn't been expecting twins and had a healthy baby. I guess she was just happy for Florence to clean up. Take away the evidence that this was anything but a happy occasion.
So she's directly referenced there. What is happening on my screen? What is that? Twins. I don't know what else to write for that video. Twins. Oh my god, a minute 24. Get out your notepads and pens, girls. This is going to be a long one. Ugh. Oh. These long ones like tire my brain. Okay. Are we ready?
Florence was a warm, kind person. But she was broken. When I found her diary, I also found a biscuit tin with other stuff in it. Older papers.
What's this? Once they said they were pregnant in Glasgow, but the other had miscarried. Simon Sleep was one of the twins. Okay.
Stuff in it. Older papers. Letters. That kind of.
So you're trying to tell me that these interviews, two completely different women came in and had to keep their story straight?
Letters. That kind of thing. Her story wasn't there.
Her story.
I never really spoke to her about it. I was far too young to really understand. I guess I just put it together later, once I was older. She had loved children, planned to have a large family, but her husband died in the war. And that was back when you married for life. She never felt like she could marry again. a widow from her 20s. But, I mean, I guess it was different then. You know, you married for life and she felt she could never marry again. I guess it was harder, a war widow. One of the dead. I don't know, maybe there was more to it than that. I don't really know.
The fact she just opened up so detailed and then went, well, I don't really know. She knows more. Okay, Florence backstory. I can't be asked writing all that down. Widow in her 20s and Simon is dead. So do you think that she's emulating what Florence did? Could explain why the story is so patchy and consistent. It could be rehearsed, but lying to police could cause stress and anxieties, which is why they are messing the story up.
No, it was just me and her. Eve was the name they were going to call their first child. They talked about it and I'm going to try when he came back. Florence's family had a history of firstborn girls, so they were convinced it was going to be a girl. It's hard to know if this is all true. These are stories I remember, that I read when I was a child. Maybe I misread, maybe I misunderstood. Sometimes it's hard to remember what happened last week.
This was filmed 3rd of July. I think this is her twin sister then trying to cover up the fact that she might be saying something different from the previous week. And when her hair's down in this video, I'm starting to be convinced that the hair down and the hair up is the different people now. Okay. I didn't know what to write for this one. We're going to have to search, the next search term is going to have to be baby or twin. I think twin is super important in all this, somehow. I'm not going to write the words, I need to write something though, don't I?
No. Girls, so child.
Florence liked Florence family firstborn girls. I don't know what else to write for that. I don't think the police think her twin is around, but so maybe they're both playing as Hannah is Simon's wife, and both said I went 2 months ago, not I went with my sister. So you think they're both working together on this? Eve. Is that even the same person? What the hell?
Well, my friend Eve. I mean, she was a friend from when I was a kid. And she was always more popular with the boys, and I used to hate her for it. I mean, really hate her sometimes.
So Eve friend hated her, which is weird. Hated her since childhood. I just want to point out, guys, 2 hours 22 minutes. 2 days, 2 hours 22 minutes and 22 seconds to go. Just going to throw some people off the screen. What I'm going to do... And who else is really, really supplying here? So, space as well. I'm hanging you both up for now. Unless Eve is her sister, not her friend. Eve has to be a twin. Okay. Let's see if Eve is her twin. Let's see if she catches herself out here. Oh god. That was very upsetting. What's going down? We're trying to suss out what the fudge has gone down so far. So a quick recap of where we're at. Hannah and Simon are together. They had an argument by the sounds of it. Hannah's gone to Glasgow and Simon was then later found in a body bag, or in a bag in a basement. She lost the baby at 8 months, but we now start to think that Hannah might actually have a twin, and there's 2 different people in these interviews, not the same person. And we're wondering if Eve is actually her sister. Because at birth, one of the sisters was told to have died. So there's only ever one of them, but we think there's 2. But hi, Sponge. So this one looks really depressing. I thought you were going to fart then, sorry. Ugh. What?
What are you doing talking about Eve?
What? Hannah, why are you talking about Eve was alone in room? So, do you know how she had like fingers were tapping each other? Do you think she has like an associative disorder where she's got 2 people in her brain? Her sister is in her brain. She thinks Hannah and herself are there. I think she's got some form of mental disorder where she's got 2 people in her head, and the whole tapping of the fingers and different hands is them 2 communicating with each other. Yeah, like an absorbed twin, yeah. One did die at birth, but I think she's embodying both of them. That has to be Eve. She seems so stressed that Hannah's talking about Eve. I think Hannah doesn't have a filter when it comes to talking about herself, but Eve is more guarded and reserved. So, I honestly do not hear the difference. I have no idea what you're talking about. I cannot hear the difference. What? I get it though. I get what you're saying. There's some with the hair up, some with the hair down. It could be 2 different people. That's the visual clue of it. And it makes sense. Wow, Hannah, why are you talking? Right, we have to watch this again. You made me really guess myself. So, I want you all, we're going to watch this twice. I want you the first time to watch it through, think of it as if she's got a mental disorder. Then the second time, so she thinks she's the twins in her head, they're both there. The second time through, think of it as if she has got a sister called Hannah. And she's talking about Hannah, talking to the police. So let's, first time through, mental disorder.
What are you doing talking about Eve?
Okay, and now I want to listen to it as if she's talking about a sister. We need to check the hospital records. We need to see the hospital stuff because that should have a record of the birth and the death. Because if she did die at birth and they covered it up, then there'd be no... Hang on.
What are you doing talking about Eve?
This whole finger tapping makes me think she's got something wrong with her. She's not there. If she didn't do this, I'd believe you there was a twin. Okay, finger tapping. Finger tapping, okay, okay. It's added. You just think she's fidgeting. Okay, we'll assume she's fidgeting and we'll assume she is talking about her other person. Okay, here's an idea then. There's a video here where she's got her hair down. Let's listen to the difference in the voice. 6 seconds.
My mother called me Eve.
You see what I mean? I don't think she has a mental disorder. Eve is under a lot of stress because she has to lie to her sister. The tapping is because she's nervous. But she's just literally said to the police there, my mother called me Eve.
Well, my friend Eve. I mean, she was a friend from when I was a kid. And she was always more popular with the boys, and I used to hate her.
I genuinely think it's the same person.
I really hate her sometimes.
This is a mental disorder. I'm certain it is. I am disagreeing with chat here. Do you not think Eve is my friend from childhood?
My mother called me Eve.
My mother called me Eve.
What are you doing talking about Eve?
I do get that. She's the one with the hair down. Eve, as we now seem to be calling her, she's very confident and very particular. Not that her accent's different, I think I get what you mean now. She's very particular with the words, while the other one with the hair up is very emotional with the way she says things. Split, the movie, I think so.
Yes. We'd fight. We fought on the beach once, and I held Eve's head underwater. There was no one else around. It was at the far end of the beach, and I held her head under, and I kept it under. And for a moment, I just wanted to kill her and watch her drown. But that was it. It was just a moment. We made up afterwards. It was a love-hate relationship.
Yeah, she wanted to kill her. Like the intent in her eyes then. The intent in her eyes was real. Can't just be a love-hate relationship, that. Makes me think that they were both involved, but Hannah did it and is getting Eve to help her cover it. It could be that she's dissociative identity disorder. If that's the case, it's very possible for mannerism and facial expressions to be different, as well as her hair preference. This is what I'm thinking. I'm starting to think now, on the one hand, she is Hannah, somebody who's very particular with the way she speaks, and she wouldn't do something like this. I know. So yeah, she's very particular. But then you've also got then Eve, who's very emotional. Hannah hated Eve for being so emotional. And honestly, this is proper throwing me off. This whole Eve inquiry is making me think now that she's got a mental disorder. Ed's got hype. Why has Ed got hype for? Okay. Simon, we believe, was Hannah's partner, who she was pregnant with.
A police station. Yeah. When I was young, we ran away on my birthday. Bob Dylan was playing in London and we thought we could break into his tour bus and have him take us with him. The taxi driver we paid to drop us off. I mean, we'd saved money, pinched a bit here and there to pay for the fare. He was suspicious because we were so young, so he told the police. So they came and picked us up and took me back to Portsmouth. My mum picked me up from the station. But I blamed everything on my friend Eve. So my parents let me off.
So just think about this for a second then. So it can't be just a mental thing then, because she's physically blamed someone and her parents are gone, okay. But wouldn't her parents want to know who Eve is? If Eve was her twin sister. So who raised them both then? I thought one was considered dead. So the midwife kept one and the real parents kept the other. It's clicking. So we're thinking that she... Honestly, my mind is going 100 miles an hour and it doesn't make any sense what I'm thinking. Sponge, you've just thrown such a spanner in the works. So Simon... Even Simon... We think that Simon's had an affair with someone. And then Hannah maybe killed Simon, and somehow Eve is involved as she is involved in the cover-up. Simon raised them. Simon raised them! Simon's the lover! Should we find out? It has to be with Eve, as why else would we have got that? Because I think there's a little inkling there somewhere in there, that brain sponge. You're inkling away at this. You're here for some intuitive thoughts, so feel free to share. So, what are we going with? So, Sponge, we can search any word we want, and if it's in the video in the subtitles, we'll find it. But you can only watch the first 5 videos. So there's 2 videos here about Eve I haven't seen yet. I need to get to them somehow. Probably because she hasn't said the word Eve, I can't see it. Maybe Simon didn't know it was Eve as they were twins, so slept with Eve thinking it was Hannah. Or one got mad, maybe. Killed him